Welcome to the Petey Performance Podcast. A bit surreal, I suppose. You're the first guest that's come on that I know since the day I was born, pretty much, I suppose. So it's an interesting one, this one.
Yeah, weird. Since we go way back to Roscrea Rugby Club, your dad, my dad are still probably best of pals. Your dad would give my dad a ring after the Irish match against New Zealand at the weekend. So yeah, pretty close. We would have spent a lot of days out in Streamstown, I think it's called. Yeah, in Roscrea. So he's I think I'm nearly 28 now, so a good few years ago, so.
And you're still a fair bit bigger than myself. That was always the case when you were running over me out at Roscrea Rugby Club in Streamstown. You're dead right.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I was not looking forward to coming on this podcast yesterday for the duration of the minor final yesterday until the very last minute, and then I was like, great, I can't wait to jump on now and slag him over this. You were down at Nolan Park to see Tipperary win with the last book of the game. What was the atmosphere like?
Class, yeah. I was watching some of the game last night. Just watched it back and said there was about 27,000 at which is mental. And I think Brendan Maher said that usually a minor game is before a senior game, and you have 15,000 in at that stage, and 10,000 were just flicking through the program or whatever. But said there's 27,000 to go watch. I think it's an under 17 and a half match. Is mental. And I don't know, we would have never got them numbers when we were playing under 18s or even under 20 matches. So I think it was a special occasion. I think the Offaly lads, geez, that hurt them, I'd say, forever pretty much. But it was the feeling, I suppose, they're going to have to bottle up and use it as extra motivation to drive on. It would have been great for Offaly. I know it's just probably another accolade wrote down for Tipperary, but no, it would have been special for Offaly, and the way they lost as well is obviously a bit heartbreaking and gut-wrenching for them.
But I couldn't help but thinking when I was watching it and watching the scenes afterwards and how distraught they were, that's going to stand to them when they move up the ranks and go to senior, that kind of adversity. And I know Offaly are well used to adversity, but that's only going to help them grow, because as you said, Tipperary are used to winning these finals, and that might have stood to them as well, in that they always believed that they were going to come back into it, even though they probably weren't they weren't the better team on the day. Offaly were the better team. They were phenomenal. But Tipperary just stayed in it because they're used to being in finals, I suppose. Yeah,
that's the thing. When Offaly are going well this year, I took you take a good interest in the minor championship, and I watched Tip obviously got the Munster final and bet Clare in extra time, and came back against Galway was in semi-final, and then obviously came back yesterday as well. So there's obviously a bit of grit in that team, and that'll stand to a few few young lads, and obviously drive them on as well. And I think that Tip team will always be remembered as the Tip team that bet Offaly last puck of the game, pretty much. And there'll be a few young lads obviously hoping to drive on to the Tip senior team, and the way Tip senior team is at the minute as well. I think they probably need a bit of refreshment after getting a lot of lads retiring and that as well. So it is. I think it'll stand to both sides, because it was such a spectacle the way the match ended and the way two teams played. I don't think I've ever been to a minor match as high intensity as that. And I actually really enjoyed it. Because I was sitting nearly right down pitch side, and the intensity was there from minute 1 to 60. As I said, I really enjoyed it.
When you're enjoying it and watching it there, does any part of you be like, geez, I'd love to go into the back kitchen and dust off the helmet and go out and turn out for Birr? Or do you ever wonder, what if I had stuck at the hurling?
No, never what if. The feeling, although it does give you that kind of urge to be like, fuck, I want to get back playing my sport to the highest level, playing in these big matches. And the feeling kind of resonated with me that I want to provide these moments, because I don't think I've ever been to, well, I have, but not in years, been to a match with my whole family. And I'm like, this is what it's like for them every day to go watch me play, because in Leinster, obviously, high intensity playing stuff and big matches like that. And it's just, as them young lads, probably, I didn't realize at the time, you're literally providing moments, you're providing feelings for your family. So that's why you kind of play the sport. Like, it's just give them days out, like, and provide that feeling. And my dad, like, 'cause I'm from Tipperary, like, and he said something about the blue and gold running out and just gives the heart a flutter, like, and stuff. And I was the same when Offaly came running out. I was like, Jesus, I wish there was more of these days. Like, I see watching some of the game last night, you see, like, I'd say the Limerick fans are just having the time of their life at the minute, and Kilkenny fans as well. The way Cody's brought them to 12 finals in 24 years. Like, imagine, or the last 24 years of my life, and you've been to an All-Ireland final every second year. Like, that's just incredible. Like, and the days out it gives you, like, so. No, it is special, but I don't think to miss hurling that much. I think I'm pretty happy I went down the route of rugby, like, and rugby's provided such a great life for me. It's educated me. I bought a house in Dublin, like, in that, so I can't have too many complaints anyway.
No, absolutely not. And I think as well, there's something special about Offaly Tipperary. Like, I think, like, Tipperary Kilkenny is obviously a huge rivalry, but I think for us on the border and that Birr Roscrea rivalry the whole time, like, I think Offaly Tipperary, and we wouldn't see it at senior level very often, but there would be a bit of bite in those underage encounters, and even there would have been a lot of bite in the underage encounters on the rugby field as well. I remember playing underage and just going out and thinking, like, there'd be huge crowds at the game, and you'd know well there was going to be slaps thrown as well. There'd be always slaps thrown, and not out of animosity or anything. After the game, it'd be always fine, like, because we all know each other. But there was such competitive spirit, and I think it was kind of came from the generations above us, because they would have played against each other for years and years as well, and there would have always been, like, who's the better team. And especially when Birr go and winning county All-Irelands in hurling, like, and a lot of the lads that played the hurling would play the rugby as well, and likewise in Roscrea. So I think Offaly and Tipperary, just, there is that bit of bite. And then we have a kind of a unique perspective as well, because we were part of that underage set up under 17s, 19s, where we had to go and play together as well, which was strange initially. Like,
and that's the thing. It's, I suppose, the added incentive. Like, you live, some lads live a mile or two apart, like, but Roscrea people would have come in and gone to, like, nightclub in Birr, and, like, so my mum's obviously from Birr, my dad's from Roscrea, like, the classic case, like, so it's that thing, like, you're just going out in town, and after you don't have the bragging rights, whatever, like, but yeah, Offaly Tip is always a good bite. Like, I think Tipperary Kilkenny is obviously different, because they're just two teams that are at the highest level and stuff, like, and Offaly and Tip obviously don't play as much as Kilkenny and Tip, like, so when they do meet, it's that special occasion, like, and it's just from, I suppose, living so close, living on the border with each other, like, and stuff. But it's always good. And then, as you said, joining together under 19s or 17, I think it was 19s at the time with the Ravens. It was actually, it was obviously daunting enough at the start, like, and I think everyone, the coaches especially, were like, "Oh, will this work out or whatever?" But no, we rode in together, like, and still very friendly with lads from Roscrea that, like, I would have never would have met, only through rugby, like, which is pretty special.
There was always great slagging at those training sessions as well between the Birr and Roscrea lads. It was always good crack. And I think it was good as well. Obviously, we amalgamated because it was like we had to fill kind of teams or make a squad. But it also added a bit of a competitive nature for places. Like, lads were going to have to compete for their place, whereas before you would have been fairly certain of where you'd be starting on the team. And it kind of drove us all on, I suppose. Like, if you look at that generation, there's quite a lot of very good rugby players that came through that, and a lot are still playing at a high level of the club setup even. Like, obviously you've gone on to great heights, but those teams did very well. We kind of played above ourselves a little bit. We weren't expected to go to finals, and we did, like.
Yeah, that's the thing. You want to be playing at the highest level as well. And, like, I suppose if we didn't amalgamate, like, I don't know, if Birr could have been playing in second division or something, like, and stuff, and they're not the matches you want to be playing, like, and stuff. But yeah, to get to a Leinster League final against Gorey and Naas, and we're unfortunate to lose it that day. It was annoying, like, but just want to be playing in the big matches, semi-finals, finals and stuff, like, and that makes you a better player, and that gives you the taste of the big matches, and that drives the motivation to train harder to get back to them days. Like,
Was that the last day you played in the back row?
geez, I think I come on for Leinster senior team in the back row once. Played at 6 against Edinburgh, and yeah, I was over in Edinburgh. I think it was nearly like the first match of the season, 2015 maybe. They just put me on at 6 because I think a few lads got injured and I had to go and do a job. It was like a 5+1 line out and stuff, and I was just +1, and lads are just guiding me around everywhere. But no, I think that's, geez, I don't know. It's hard to figure it out. Like, there's not many of them.
You were already starting that transition into the front row a couple of years before that, wasn't it? But you were still doing very, very well in the back row. Do you think you brought some of the skills from the back row and being more dynamic into the front row at that time, and that kind of stood to you when you went into the Leinster setup?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I suppose as a number 8, you want to be stuck on the ball the whole time, and that definitely stood to me. Like, because the way Leinster play as well, like, they obviously push the boundaries of every player should have like top class skills and stuff, and going into a front row, like you see Ty Furlong there, he's like so skillful and stuff, and I don't know if he's always prof, but I presume he has. But just the skill level, I think skill level coming from hurling as well, just the hand-eye coordination, like, and stuff, that all stands to you. Like, but yeah, definitely from the back row coming in, made such a difference. Like, and I'm grateful that they actually did push me into the front row, looking at the back rows in Leinster and the competitive nature there now. Like, so, yeah, thank God I made the move in, or else I'd be, I don't know, I could have been hurling for Offaly seniors a few weeks ago.
Centre back. Because
Yeah.
I remember when they first kind of flirted with the idea, which you weren't too keen on it initially. And I remember them talking to you a lot about the two big things that you were going to have to do was learn how to scrummage effectively. And then obviously what would help that was put on a fair bit of weight as well. Because before that, when you were playing both hurling and rugby, you weren't as heavy as you had to be to go into the front row. And I suppose when you were transitioning into the front row as well, the game was at a stage where it was better to be heavier. You were encouraged to be as heavy as you possibly could.
Yeah. And not like, as anyone, it's about your confidence. If you're a number 8 and you think you're flying it, and they're like, "Oh, I think we should put you into the front row," and you're just like, "Jesus, I don't know about that now." Like, so that's why the kind of hesitancy was there to start, like, and stuff. But you just think, number 8 is where I'm going to be for the rest of my life. But no, like the size thing, I suppose I'm lucky enough. My family are obviously, my dad and my uncles are big men, like, and that helps. Like, but no, after my leaving cert, well, during my leaving cert, put on a bit of extra tonnage that wasn't great tonnage, but over that summer, then after my leaving cert, I trimmed down and kind of built it back up more naturally, like, and stuff. And it's just because, like, when I was down here, didn't know much about the gym, nutrition, knew not, and like my mum would just hand me dinners, like, and be spuds and on them the whole time, like, and stuff. It'd be just meat and spuds, like. But that's the thing. You go from, exactly, bacon and cabbage. No, that's the thing. It's then you start training. Like, I was training, I suppose, doing 4 or 5 gym sessions a week, where in hurling circles that's unheard of when you're that young, like, and stuff. And put on the weight naturally then, and kind of really stood to me, like. But yeah, no, I was always kind of took pride in my nutrition then after that, like, and I suppose educating my family in ways around just the usual dinners, like, and stuff, and just the variety as well. Like, that's all you need pretty much, like, and which really helped, and I suppose kind of still helps to this day. Yeah.
Well, I remember at that age as well, you were doing an insane amount of training and playing, because you were playing, like, you were trying to play both sports up until what, under 16, 17. Did you play minor? You played in school, actually. You hurled in school still, didn't you?
Yeah, lost the minor hurling final for Birr. I was asked to go into the Offaly minors, but like couldn't, trying to do my leaving certain stuff. Played school, senior school a few times, just matches, like, and stuff. My principal, Ming McDonald, was very good. She was like, looked after me, and they were understanding as well. Stuff like, but yeah, I came to like 16, 17. I was traveling to Dublin 3-4 times a week, and they were still looking to me hurl. And I come back myself, and I knew I wasn't like sharp enough, like hurling needs to be so quick, like and stuff. And I was becoming bigger, which meant I was becoming slower, like and stuff. And they just throw me in full forward, just get the ball and head towards the goals, like and stuff. But yeah, I suppose like they just tried to get as much out of me as possible, like, which can't fault them for, like. And I always would have loved to have won a minor. Like I lost 4 under 16 county finals, and I think nearly 1 or 2 minors as well. So we were very unlucky. Like that was the joys, but like, because I would have been hurling like centre back, wing back, and then you just become a lot bigger, so just throw you in full forward, like, and you know yourself, you're not at your peak physically to play hurling, where rugby is such a different game, like. So
I'd say the nutrition played an integral part of you being able to train as much as you did, because I remember you saying to me before that the gym you were doing, maybe that was when you were in UCD, it was before college, it was early mornings, that was your opportunity to get that in, and then you obviously had trainings then after. I think that was probably when you were still sub academy. Yeah, I just remember thinking, like, and my mom asking you as well, when are you getting time to study? Like,
jeez, don't tell my mum that. Yeah, no, there's sub academy. So moved to Dublin when I was 17. First year I lived on campus in UCD, and gym started at 6 o'clock every morning. So I remember like alarms 20 past 5 every morning, my alarm would go off. I'd be like, jeez. And that was Monday to Friday, like every day. Steve Crosby, you know, who played with Leinster, Connacht and Munster, he'd collect me at the UCD flyover every morning. I'd walk out there, drive down to Donnybrook, in the gym for 6, and gym would be nearly 2 hours, like, so it'd be a lot done. And sometimes we'd have skill sessions and that, like, and you'd be meant to be in college for 9 o'clock, but like you'd be just wrecked and you'd be like, oh geez, we go sit and spar, get like food there and just chill out then for an hour or two, and then you're like, oh, I'm after missing my lecture, right, sure, I'll go back up, and you just go back to bed for an hour, and then you could have club training that night, like, so Tuesday or Thursday nights, like, and stuff. But no, it was good. It was a good year. It was kind of a year Leinster used to kind of iron out people that are not really committed to it, like. So Monday to Friday, I'm up at 20 past 5 with no social life, like, for my first year of college, which a lot of people go to college, like, and just lose the plot in their first year, like, which was kind of good. Like, it settled me into Dublin, like, and stuff, and got to know the lads, like, and we go out for a feed, like, and stuff, which that was the only thing we could do, go for food, like, because I would have never done that down in Birr, like, because like when you're young you just get food at home the whole time. But now, and like going around Dublin, and you're in these like really nice restaurants, like, not even nice restaurants, just any restaurant, like,
far cry from Macari's.
No, yeah, far from Tipperary, like. But that's the thing, yeah, you're getting food, you're just like, geez, this is grand now, I don't have to like cook for myself the whole time and that, like, which is an experience, like. But it kind of settled me into Dublin, and then I learned a lot that year, and that stood to me in the long run.
And if I'm not mistaken, you were like in a house with a number of the other lads as well, and like you had been playing with them underage as well, with Ireland and Leinster, and you're still very good friends with a lot of those lads as well. So Leinster obviously do a very good job of creating like a very tight-knit community amongst like the players. Like, you're very close.
Yeah, you come in with like sub academy year, whatever, one, and you're seeing them lads like every morning at 6 o'clock. There's about 7 or 8 of you, like, you're stuck in the same group, like, and stuff. And first year I lived on campus with 5 random people, but like Adam Byrne, Josh Van der Fleer, they were just around the corner, so I spent most of my time in their house. And then second year we moved into a place just off campus, me, Josh, Adam Byrne, Tom Daly, and 2 girls the first year, and then we swapped out the 2 girls and 2 other lads moved in. So yeah, it was good. But yeah, you always remember the lads you go into like sub academy with, and you look after each other, like, because that's all you got. Like, you're scary going in there, like, so you just have that group, and they look out for you as well, like. So yeah, no, it is very close knit. Like, you get close knit with the lads you go into it, and then that kind of evolves as well, like, because other lads join the group, and as an academy, like, there's a really good bond, like. So,
and obviously when you go in with those lads, like, you all want to make it, but is there an inherent kind of competitive spirit, like, I'm going to outwork these lads? I know it might be very, very hard to outwork those lads, because they're obviously, like, even Josh Van der Fleer is known to be one of the hardest working rugby players around, like. But do you kind of find yourself saying, well, if he's going to the gym and doing extras, I'm going to go to the gym and do extras, or I'm going to go in and get in early and I'm going to go to the video room and do my analysis and all that kind of crack?
Yeah, like I suppose the lads you live with, like none of us are in the same position, which helped. Like we kind of drove each other on, and we didn't like try and outwork each other. We'd always be like helping each other along and stuff like that. And but yeah, no, it's I suppose not trying to outdo each other, like, but it was very helpful, and we all kind of looked after each other. And Adam Byrne, like, is the youngest ever player to play Leinster, so he was like getting senior exposure, training with the senior team. So like when he'd come home, we'd be just like quizzing and being like, "What was training like?" and all this, and did anything happen like and that, and like we just have a great like interest in it, like, and we were like, "Geez, hopefully now in the next few weeks we get a run out, like get up, just even train with the senior team, like and stuff." And no, it's very like I suppose accommodating environment, and that kind of helps, like, because if you didn't know anything about it, then you're just thrown in and you're a bit like shell shocked, like and stuff. So just to get the heads up and stuff and that, like, so.
But at the same time, like you're in there with all these phenomenal athletes as well, like, so I'm sure you pick up different things from each other, and because you're all in different positions, you probably are picking each other's brain on what the other person is thinking when they come up against you on the field, or how they're going to beat you, and then you're kind of trying to fill in the cracks around your game to make you a better player, I suppose. So it's very useful to live with so many lads in different positions that have a different perspective of the game, because for you in the front row, you're looking at the game, it's almost a completely different sport for you as it is for Adam.
Yeah, exactly. So it's being in the front row, like it was so new to me as well, like I'd be quizzing, like I remember scrummaging like the tie heads at the time were like Mike Ross, Marty Moore, Tyke, and like Michael Bent and stuff, like, and four big men, like, so that's the thing, like you're young. I think the older lads kind of don't mind you being like inquisitive and asking them like how they felt, especially in scrum, like set piece, like, because I was kind of all learning, it was all new to me, like, and stuff. So but that's the environment in Leinster, like you're everything's team first, like, so whatever you do, it's for the team. And so that's like you grab someone, go up to the video room, like, and they could be any opposition tie head or that, whatever, and you're just like, what were you feeling here? Like, what can I do better? Or what did you think like I was going to do and stuff like this? Like, so that's why I suppose Leinster have been very successful, is the close knit environment amongst the players, and they all just drive each other on to get better. Like,
and that's probably why they produce so many elite quality front rowers as well, because the names you just named there, you just named the tight heads, they're all world-class players, whereas then the loose heads as well, they're all world-class players as well. So it's so highly competitive that you sink or swim, I'd imagine, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Keane Healy's obviously been a dominant loosehead for nearly 15 years now, and then Jack McGrath comes along, like, and plays for the Lions, like, stuff. So if you own it, like, people ask you, like, "Oh, who do you look at in World Rugby?" It's like, you don't have to look too far, like, from the players you've rubbed shoulders with, like, and stuff, which is, I suppose, it's incredibly beneficial for a player coming up along. But then at the same time, you're just like, these are playing the whole time, you're not playing as much as you want, like, so that's the catch-22, like. But yeah, you get to learn so much, like, and stuff, and I suppose that's why I'm heading where I'm heading now, like, heading out to Galway. Like, obviously, I just want to try play more rugby. Like, I know it's not guaranteed to play rugby, like, and I have to knuckle down and drive on down in Galway, like, so that's why I'm looking forward to a new challenge.
Are you nervous at all about moving out of Leinster, having been there for what, over 10 years now?
Yeah, 10 years, like, so I moved up when I was 17 and nearly 28 now, like, so geez, yeah, time has flown by. But I wouldn't say nervous just yet. Like, I know I will be probably nervous lots of the time, like, but I'm looking forward to getting settled in. Like, I know a lot of the lads down there, and I'm sure they'll be very accommodating and help me settle in and stuff, and just want to hit the ground running. So yeah, just want to get back to it. Like, I know a change in environment, change is good sometimes, like, and as you said, 10 years in Leinster, yeah, sure, a change can do me no harm, hopefully, at this stage.
But it's interesting that, like, you've been so long at Leinster that you have kind of developed alongside the system as it's developed in terms of the playing system and the structure that you're playing. So, like, each year you've come you've come in from your preseason or whatever, they're adding building blocks. They're probably not just throwing out what's been done before. Whereas now you're going into a setup where you're going to have to learn a new culture, a new system. Have you had much dealings with the coaching staff so far, or are they kind of leaving you to it other than your kind of negotiations over the summer, obviously? Because you're going into pre-season in less than a month, I'd imagine, is it?
Yeah, next Monday, like, so only one more week left. No, like, yeah, I talked to Andy Friend when I was signing, like, and stuff, and he just gave me like a brief oversight of it, like, and stuff. They obviously won't give you, like, because Leinster were obviously playing Connacht during the Champions Cup, like around the time I was signing and it was announced and stuff, like. But no, I had a few brief dealings, nothing major. They just let you at it, like, and stuff. And but like, as a professional rugby player, you study other teams. Like, and we've, I suppose, played Connacht nearly 4 times this year, like, so. We've had I suppose an insight into how they play, and they play such a good brand of rugby, like, and that. So that's obviously going to help. And I've had just a few conversations with their forwards coach, D-Wall is his name, like, so. I'm meant to meet up with him this week now and stuff. So that'll be the start of it then, yeah.
What attracted you to Connacht over the interest from overseas clubs?
Look, a long-term goal of mine is to play for Ireland, like, and stuff. And to play with Ireland, you obviously need to be in the shop window. Like, you can't be sitting on your arse like I have been doing most of this year. Like, so that's incentive to play rugby. Connacht play a great brand of rugby, like, as well. And they've, I suppose, down in the sports ground for the Champions Cup match, they really put up the Leinster, like, and stuff. So yeah, look, there's obviously a lot to work on. They missed out on the playoffs, like, and stuff. So hopefully, between my experience, and obviously we've signed a good few other players like Josh Murphy and Adam Byrne as well, and they've signed a few lads from what's called Super Rugby as well. Like, so hopefully can all row in together, bring different levels of expertise, and drive Connacht on to the next level.
I've heard you speaking before about how it is important to play rugby at the highest level. If you're going to play at the highest level, you have to play consistently and string performances together. Has there been a time this year, kind of before obviously the negotiations and whatnot, where you were sitting there and you thought that ultimate goal of playing for Ireland might have been a little bit more out of reach because you were sitting on your arse, as you said, and you weren't playing?
Very much like a positive player, like, so I'd be like, you take it in two, like November International, Six Nations, you're like, right, not gonna get into camp this block, not gonna get into camp the next block, like, so you're just like, I'd never write off the thing of playing for Ireland, like, so I'd always be like, right, I'm starting fresh now next week, like, so attack this block. The coaches say you've a 6-week head start and the Irish internationals coming back. Like, I remember talking to Paul O'Connell about it last summer, like, when I was in camp. He so I didn't get to play, like, I just had a conversation with him, like, and he said to me, right, you've 4 weeks holidays now, you go away for a week or two and just come back, hit the ground running, and you can really, like, get after it, like, because you've been in camp, you've had this experience. And he's like, I hope you've learned a lot from it, like, and his expertise, like, and stuff. So yeah, no, it's, you kind of attack it in different blocks, like, and that's why hopefully with this block now, we're starting back next week. Like, it's, I've only had, I think, three and a half weeks of off season, which I don't really mind, to be honest, like, because I've been training hard as well. I haven't gone away for too long, like, and stuff, and I've been training still here, like, so it's good to let the body refresh, like, but yeah, looking forward to getting into it now. And as you said, like, back next week's the 11th of July, like, so it's pretty early in terms of rugby, like, but yeah, I can't wait to get back and get going again.
So obviously you've said, like, you have to play more in order to get better, obviously, and stake a claim to get into that setup. But it sounds like they're fairly open with you once you're in that setup, and you were in that setup last summer. So do you know what aspects of your game they want you to work on to get to that level? And like, what do you think yourself you need to work on other than just getting more game time in?
Yeah, I think it's that exposure to high level rugby, like, and as a prop, set piece is critical. Like, you see any of the internationals over the weekend, like, in scrum dominance has such a profound effect on the rest of the match, like, and set piece wise, like without a set piece, the team is going to struggle to win. Like so, number one is obviously scrum as a prop. That's your job. That's your bread and butter. Like scrum and line out, attack and defense. Like so, anything else is a bonus then. And I feel like if my scrum is going well, it gives me that confidence around the park to like carry hard and be destructive. Like so, being destructive as a prop, you see, like obviously go back to Ty again. Ty is a good example of how he can carry, like how he can ball play and stuff like that, and just his knowledge of the game as well. Like so, that ties in the perfect performance for a prop. But like, if the scrum's going forward, your props have had a good day. Like so, that makes such a difference. Like, and that gives the confidence to the rest of the team. Like so, I don't think you don't need to reinvent the wheel as a prop. Just do your job, which is a simple job, and do it well. Like.
It sounds like you're pretty passionate about the scrummaging now. Was that something that came straight away, or did you have to kind of learn to love it over the 10 years you've been doing it, I suppose?
No, as I said, like if your scrum goes well, like it gives you that confidence. So a prop is there to scrummage, like so I just felt if you put the D10 into scrummaging, and that's really kind of like that gives the rest of your game a lift, like and stuff. So like you don't have to go mad like doing things around the park, like trying to impress. Like where you're a winger, like you have to score tries, like, and you have to beat defenders, like and stuff. Whereas a prop, if your set piece goes well, they'd be happy with you, like pretty much, like so. Just concentrating on the scrum, and then the rest of the game will hopefully fall into place.
Because I heard you talking with Brian about the first experience when you went in propping against this Mahomet of a Frenchman. And that didn't sound like it was that enjoyable. Well, it definitely wouldn't be for me, but maybe it was for you. I don't know. You must have picked up a lot of lessons over the years from propping against huge men, like, because the way that the sport has gone and playing against these French teams now, like even if we're looking at the Champions Cup final against La Rochelle, these lads are 6'3", 6'4" plus, like, whereas you at 6 foot, like, does that help you in the loose head to get in under them a little bit?
Yeah, like they're big men, I suppose, and you're hoping they tire a bit more easily, like, but some of the big men you see, like my dad always says to me, like big men, like they're bit softer, like so you get stuck into them, like, but no, you kind of get used to it, like sometimes, as I said, big men tire quicker, like, so you're just like, right, need to be patient here, like, and chip away, like, so no, it is tough, like, because tight head is obviously usually the biggest man on the opposition team, like, and you're literally going head to head with him, like, so but yeah, like, it's the joys of the front row, like, you that's what you're there to do, like, and stuff. And then French teams, have huge big men, like, so it's an interesting encounter, like.
I'm sure you have to love it if you're going in there. But you touched on your dad there, like, and obviously your dad coached you for many years underage. Did he start to give you more specific kind of advice when you were transitioning into the front row, given that he played in the front row himself? Or
no,
was he giving you no, he didn't, no, because he would give you a fair bit of advice, like, I know he would.
Like, I think he started in the back row as well, and as he got older, moved into the front row. But his scrums in his day and my day are completely different, like, so he'd tell himself, he'd tell you himself, like, he won't have a clue about scrummaging, like, and stuff. And but no, otherwise, apart from scrum, like, he'd been like hugely influential on my career, like, and stuff. And as I said, the game has changed a lot in the like 20 years between our careers or whatever, like, so but still he'd have the like kind of basics of the game up and well, and like he'd be very clever, like, and he'd understand rugby better than a lot of like, I suppose, people his age, like, which is been very beneficial to me, like, and he'd know a good rugby player when he sees him, like, stuff. So that's been hugely helpful to me, like, and he coached me for 10 years, like, they were on to him to go back coaching, and he said he knows rugby, but he'd be so out of loop with coaching, like, and stuff, which he'd find it like very hard.
It's good that he knows that as well, though, like, because a lot of fellas wouldn't know that. My father wouldn't know that. He'd think he could go in and coach Ireland next week, as you know. But like, your dad has been at so many matches like that. He's picked up so many little pieces, and he's been at so many training sessions as well. Like that's one big reason I would say that he went so well underage and Birr like developed so many good young players was the coaches were getting exposure to a higher level of coaching and they were picking up things and then implementing them in the rugby club back home.
Yeah, like he would have, in fairness to him, like drove me. Like we used to go to Carlo on Monday night, and Jerry Murphy would have coached me. He's an all Irish coach. Like there could be only 7 or 8 of us at training, like not by like people not showing up or whatever. It'd just be a small session, and he'd run such a good session. My dad would be like, "Geez, if he had 7 or 8 at training, like he'd really struggle." Like where he picks up on things like that. But yeah, like being training, like he's been to so many of my trainings, like because obviously he drives me there when I was underage and stuff, like, and then he'd just stand around like and love to chat to the other out lads, like, and he'd be always picking up training, like detail within training and stuff. And he used to always quiz me about drills, like, and that, and how to make training like better. But yeah, I suppose he's picked up a lot, and I feel like his rugby intelligence is pretty good, like, so he'd understand like why we're doing such a thing, like, and all that, like. But I suppose yeah, it's been beneficial for him and that way as well. But he's like, no, I feel I'm so out of the loop now. He'd never go back coaching.
Was there ever any added pressure with him coaching you when you were underage, like for that he didn't put on you now, but you put on yourself?
No, I think I just got so used to it. I was just like, yeah, this is what it is now at this stage. Like, I felt more so like I was like, geez, I need to rally the lads, like the lads be giving out like, oh, they're tired and I want to go train, like, and stuff. And I was like, come on, like we train for an hour a week, like, and that's the fact. I didn't want to let him down. I wanted to have a good session. I knew the lads always come to matches and stuff, and we'd have like serious teams, like, and we'd always perform and win matches, like, and stuff, and that would give him such an uplift. Like it was just more around the training and getting lads to train, because like we're training hurling every night of the week, like, and stuff. And I was like, come on, give us one dig out, like we're literally training for an hour a week, like, so just be getting the lads training would be my biggest worry, like, because I knew they'd come around to matches, like, and stuff. So
I think with lads in our area as well, like a lot of the time they're going to do it. They just want to complain about it for a while first. Yeah. It comes from that agricultural background a little bit, I think. Like we love it out complain. But I had Jack Regan on and he said, like, from coming from Birr and being involved in the GAA and whatnot, it did give him a little bit of grit, and he feels he can dig a little bit deeper than some of the other players he came up against when he was coming through his underage career. Would you say something similar, like the club setup and coming from that kind of environment did give you that little bit of grit?
Yeah, I'd say grit and just that edge, competitive edge to win, like, because I would have grown up in Birr, would have won 4 Club All-Irelands, and I remember coming down and you just see the senior, like the winning mentality within the senior players, and that obviously transferred to Offaly winning All-Irelands 94, 98 when I was young, like, and stuff. And the Birr Club All-Irelands, I'd remember better, like, there's only 4 when Offaly won that All-Ireland in 98, 98 and I think 2002 and stuff, when Birr were winning Club All-Ireland, so I'd remember them better, like. And I suppose it's like a winning environment. If you're in it, like, you're obviously going to want to be part of that eventually, like. Obviously I was never part of that winning mentality with Birr winning Club All-Irelands and stuff, but I think it just something resonated with me, like that winning culture and that grit, as you said, like the grit to win would have transferred through to my rugby career, and especially I would have earned a lot of like school hurling trophies and stuff, and underage club county finals, like, and as I said, I lost 4 under 16 county finals, which is brutal, like. But yeah, no, that really transferred definitely from hurling to the rugby circles. Yeah.
And obviously you've been very well supported from the people of Birr as well as your family. Did some of that grit, do you think, come from the fact that so many people are so invested in your career and in your performances? Because you touched on there, like your uncles and everyone that travels to the matches, like you give them the memories and whatnot. Does it ever, like, would that drive you on more, or does it ever become a little bit too much where you're like, oh geez, I wish people would stop asking me about rugby?
No, like, I think coming from the country and coming from Birr is like pretty famous for like producing hurlers, and now like there's like, I don't know, like professional rugby players have to come from Birr, like, which is kind of, it's mad. Like, it would always be unheard of, but like people get great solace in that. Like when you come back to, like, I was at a wedding last week and they'll just be asking me like how's Birr produced like 5 professional rugby players, like, and stuff. And I was like, I simply don't know the reason why, but we just got like a good crop of players. Like, we're all obviously different ages, like, and stuff. But yeah, like we'd always tie it back to Birr, like, because like if the rugby club asked you for a dig out, it'd be like no hassle at all. Like, and like, the hurling club ever needed a hand, like, and stuff like that. I think it's just a small, close knit community in Birr, like, and people are always like delighted to say they're from Birr, like, and a lot of people know Birr, like, as well, which is helpful. Like, and being the Birr lad up in Leinster, like, there's not many country lads up there, like, and stuff, and you're kind of like proud to say you're from Birr, like, and stuff. So yeah, it does, like, gives you good solace, as I said, like, when people take a great local interest in it, like, and stuff. And to have myself and Mikey in Leinster as well, it's just like when we live stone's throw away from each other, like, it's gas. But yeah, no, it's good to fly the Birr flag.
King of Birr, as they say. When these younger lads come into the Leinster setup, obviously you have transitioned from sub-academy, academy, younger player looking in to more of a senior role. Do you kind of tend to take a bit of a mentorship role from the lads that come in from Birr? And are you like a little bit invested in their development because, well, more invested because they're from Birr, with the arm around the shoulder kind of? Because obviously as well, you've just touched on the 5 rugby players there, all type 5 rugby players as well.
Yeah, there's something in the food down in Birr, like, but no, like, obviously with Mikey came in, yeah, you definitely look out for him, like, and stuff, and try and help him as much as you can, like. But as a senior player that played over 100 times for Leinster now, you're just like, I get a good kick out of the young lads. Like, I remember Scott Fardy, like, when he came to Leinster, like, he just kind of incorporated everyone, like, no matter how young they were, like, and he'd be slagging them and stuff, like, and won't be a bother on them, like. And I'd have a good relationship with the younger players, like, and stuff, and I hope they see me as like someone they could come talk to, like, and stuff. But yeah, no, it's, you suppose, like, it doesn't be long coming around. I remember when I was coming in first, like, and you're only like 17, 18, like, and now 10 years later, it's like a full circle, like. So, and you feel like, as I said, like, if the young lads can feel they can approach you, you feel like you've done a good job and you've created that relationship, like. So
it sounds like Leinster played a pivotal role in not only developing you as a rugby player, but as a man as well. So, like, would there be key integral values from Leinster that you've learned and you live by now that you're going to carry over into what you're going to do with Connacht in the future and probably your later life as well?
Yeah, like, definitely being humble is part of being a Leinster rugby player, like, and you treat everyone like the same, no matter how many caps they have in Leinster, like, and stuff. And I feel like that's gone to my outside life as well, like. So there, a lot of people be like, like, you hear it as a rugby player, you hear it the whole time, you're like, geez, I thought you wouldn't be as sound as you are, or whatever, like, because I don't know, I suppose there's a perception of rugby players being kind of off in their ego, like, and stuff, like. But I'm not sure, like, literally, you just think you're just a normal person. Like, rugby players are normal people, like, they're just human beings after all. And I love just getting to know people as well, like, and just being normal, like, down at that Offaly match yesterday, like. And it's great to just chat to people, like, from your kind of same circles, like, and stuff, and that, like. So no, it's like being humble to be number one, like, and stuff, definitely, like. So that has really kind of transferred from my rugby career to my outside life. And I suppose if you aren't humble, it's quashed fairly quick within Leinster, like.
You've always been pretty humble though, like, and I think you're saying it's quashed in Leinster, it'd be quashed at home as well for you.
Exactly,
like, you can't really get too above your station coming from where we come from as well, like, or you'll be told.
Yeah, family definitely drives that as well, like. It's the way you're brought up, like, that makes such a difference, like. Yeah, 100%, like.
I was like, I couldn't help when I was watching the post-match interviews, Offaly and Tip yesterday. The only difference between the interviews really was one person was smiling and the other wasn't. Like there is an inherent kind of, you have to be humble, because it was kind of like to the Offaly management, why do you think you lost or whatever? Sure, things didn't go our way, and that was kind of the way. And then why? And then to the Tip lads, it was sure, we just stayed in it, and we got a lucky goal at the end, and we probably didn't do great before that. And so I think there is something from our part of the world, I suppose, that you're taught to be humble. And it probably did stand to you when you went into Leinster initially. And it probably stood to you so much that you touched on caps there. Like you reached the important milestone of getting that 100 cap. Was that very, very important for you to get that before you moved on?
Yeah, massively. Like would have talked to my dad about, I think it was in 92 or 93 before the season started. And I didn't get many caps before Christmas, and then like opportunity arose, and Six Nations games were like had to be refigured, like, and stuff, and there was a few more caps there to be available, like, and stuff. And around Christmas time I knew I was going to probably leave Leinster, like, so I was just like, right, I'm looking down, try to get 100 caps, like, and be a great milestone to say that you've got over 100 caps for Leinster, like, and to be given the opportunity to lead the team out in Treviso, like, and play that day, like, have my family there and stuff like that. Will always resonate with me, like, and stuff, like, so it was always good to get the 100. And like, there's only a certain amount of players that can say they played 100 times for Leinster, like, which is pretty special to be part of that group.
You were always going to get against Treviso as well. You've played against them more times than most. You scored against them, actually. Did you score against them once or twice in the past?
Jeez, I'm not sure now. My try scoring record won't be the best.
That's why I thought you'd remember.
No, geez, I don't know. Maybe.
Where are you keeping the 100 cap, or who did you give it to, or do you have it on the mantle at home?
Well, Leinster have at the minute, it's getting embroidered and stuff, like, so I've just a few caps out there, like, so I'll probably get framed. My sister's good at that, like, she's always looks after that kind of stuff, and she probably put it up on the wall, like, so yeah, no, it's always a nice thing to have, like, and my dad is a Roscrea cap, honorary cap up there as well, so I'll probably go up beside that one.
You go below that one, hopefully.
Yeah, not as good as that one. No.
Yeah, obviously. And like, you're well looked after, like, by your family, like, as you touched on there. Sarah looks after that. She looks after a whole lot more as well. And your uncles would be heavily invested as well. And I know that they'd be at you for many, many years trying to get you to move down south as well. Was that ever in your younger career anything that you thought about, or was it just simply this year, I'm going to make a move?
There is, true, contract wise, like years ago, like, and stuff, but like years ago I was playing a good bit, like, and you're young and I'm still learning as a prop and stuff, so I was like never really going to leave, like, but no, there was never a year that I was like, right, I need to go, like, and stuff, until this year. I was just like, right, I'm 27 now, I need to look after number one, like, and stuff, so that's why I kind of just bit the bullet this year, started talking to more clubs, and then the opportunity arose with Connacht, like, so I was just like, yeah, it has to be done. Because I'd be good friends with Tom Daly now and stuff, like, and talk to him a lot about it, like, and as you see, like, he's a fine player, like, and he moved to Connacht and got in the Irish camp last year and stuff, like, and has been Connacht Sports Player of the Year last year and stuff, like, so that kind of like was an incentive as well, like, see how well he did when he left Leinster, like, and I'll be forever grateful for everything Leinster gave me, like, and stuff. And just comes to a time, like, where you have to, like, move on for number one.
Would that have been a big factor in the fact that you know so many lads that are playing their trade in Connacht? And you touched on Tom there, he's a very good friend of yours, but you could have a front row next season that's 2/3 Birr Rugby Club as well, which is interesting, with Shane Delahunt playing there as well.
Yeah, obviously you talk to all these lads before you go, like, and the reports are always good, like, and stuff, and they highly rate the environment down there, like, and then you look at it from the outside, like, and you know, like, the rugby they play, like, and that suits your style of rugby, like, as well. So yeah, it all adds up, like, especially, and it helps that you've so many friends, like, down there as well, like, which would hopefully make that transition seamless at the end of the day, like.
What are you going to miss the most about Dublin? Because you are, like, you're a big Dublin head. You've always loved it, and Like, what are you going to miss? They do have a Boojum down in Galway as well. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I heard that. All right, yeah. No, I don't know. Like Dublin's different. Like it's a huge city. Like there's so many people in Dublin, like and stuff. And look, Dublin restaurants are lovely, but I'm sure Galway restaurants are equally as nice, like and stuff. And I've done 10 years in Dublin. It's like so I've put in a good stint. But that's the thing. Like I've made so many friends in Leinster and stuff. Like if I miss something so much, I can just go back. Like and I'm sure the boys would like to have me back for a few beers one of the nights as well. Like so not going to miss one specific thing. Like Dublin, I love Dublin, like and stuff, and the city's great, like and that. But I'm looking forward to Galway. Galway is a lovely city as well. Like so, change is good sometimes, and hopefully that comes to fruition now this year.
I expecting as big travelling support to Galway now, and you're prepping the barbecues already for the family and all the Birr faithful to travel down to support you.
Look, it's Galway is obviously easier to get into than Dublin, like and stuff, and it's only the guts of an hour down, and Dublin's an hour and a half, like so. Hopefully, and like all my close friends from Birr said they'd be down a good bit, like and stuff, and it'd be good to hear them pack out the sports ground, like and yeah, no, it'd be interesting to see like if they come down the wet, windy nights in the sports ground, like so. I know who my true friends are then.
You may get a barbecue that's covered over or something if you're going to be out there hosting these big numbers,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you are now. But I couldn't believe it when you were telling me about how many people you'd have up to the matches on a match day. Obviously, if Leinster are playing Munster, there's going to be more as well. Like, and I just couldn't help but thinking, and I even asked you at the time, is that not an added stress for you to have that many people in your gaff beforehand? But you said you just love having so many people around and hosting.
Yeah, like it wouldn't be huge normal occurrence. It just happened more so this year because I moved in on my own, renovated my house, like and stuff, and my parents would come up and just tip away at the house and go as their ease, like and stuff. My mother would be great like that. She loves hosting, like and loves cooking and stuff. And I just let them plow away, like and stuff. And they're like, you worry about your own routine, like and that, like and I could go for a pre-match nap, like and they'd be all just down in the kitchen, like just having food and drinks, like stuff. And it wouldn't bother me, like no, because it kind of highlights the fact that they're all here to see me pretty much. Like, and I knew my Leinster Rugby matches were limited or numbered, like so. I was just like, few, like who knows, like these days are obviously not going to happen too much more. Like, so I was just happy that they were coming to see me play, like, and making the effort, like, to come all the way to Dublin, like, and stuff. And it helped that I had my own house, like, they could stay the night, like, stuff. So, no, like, I suppose it didn't really affect me too much. Like, so I was just like happy to have them there, like, and they could go at their ease, and just makes it more convenient for them as well.
Obviously, with all that support, like, it's going to be easier to go out and put on a performance as well, because they're all coming up to see you, as you said. Are you happy with the legacy that you've left at Leinster now moving forward into Connacht? Because you have a fair bit of silverware there. You have 100 caps. Like, you've done great things like that.
Yeah, like I suppose being part of the competitive player as I feel I am, like I feel probably could have got more out of me, like and stuff, but I just say to get 100 caps, like, and to be involved in winning teams, like and stuff, and that has been a good honor, like that I've had. But yeah, as a rugby player, you always demand more and you want more, like, and you always feel like you're not good enough. So to drive on and hopefully make such an impact, to make an impact in Connacht, to be involved and hopefully winning like things would be great as well, like so.
And that's the ultimate, as you said, is like to go on to more and hopefully get back into that Ireland setup. You obviously caught the match on Saturday morning. Is it tough for you to watch like the lads that you're friends with, your teammates with, succumb to defeat in such like a hard fought test where a few decisions probably were 50-50? Like,
yeah, I know, like the lads, like how, as I said, competitive we are, like and stuff, and I know they'll be beating themselves up after a match, like in that, but like you're playing against like the world best team in New Zealand, like so I know they'll feel sorry for themselves for like 24, 48 hours, but like I saw pictures there this morning, they're back at it, like training again, and that's the beauty about Test rugby. They can get back on the horse this week, like correct a few wrongs, like that'll have huge benefits to them, that match, and they'll learn a lot from it, like, and hopefully they put in a better performance this weekend and get going against New Zealand. Like, it would be nice to take a scallop down there. Like, so I'm sure they'll be the finest. Like, they'll feel sorry for themselves for 24, 48 hours, but they'll get back on the horse, not bother.
It doesn't sound like it's too difficult to watch now. You wouldn't feel like you've played a test after watching it yourself. But is it difficult to be on the outside looking in, like thinking like, I think I could impact on that, especially with the problems they're having in the front row in terms of injuries and fitness, etc. at the moment?
Yeah. Look, I feel myself I haven't done enough this year to warrant it to be down there, like, and stuff. But you look at the game, like, and you suppose you study looseheads, like, and stuff, and how they play, like, and things like you try to pick up from and stuff. But like, you never write it off. As I said, like, that's an aim to play for Ireland, like, and hopefully down the future that happens. Like, but I know myself I haven't warranted enough to be playing this year. Like, you have to be a realist too, like, and stuff. So
you're well able to do that.
Yeah.
Do you think it does add to a little bit more hunger and a desire to get back at it, and that's why you're so keen to get into pre-season as early as possible?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it definitely gives you that hunger to be playing in them matches, like, and stuff, and testing yourself against the best. Like, and trips like that are special. Like, they're down in Auckland for like 3-4 weeks, like, stuff, and we did our 20s World Cup there in class place, and just to be playing against like the best is obviously where you want to be playing, like, week in, week out, like, and stuff. So yeah, and hopefully we'll see what happens with the year to come. Like, so I'll just keep the head down and working away. So that's all you can do.
100%. Right. Well, I wish you the best of luck with that. We're looking forward to seeing you in Connacht, so we are, but we're going to move on to quick fire questions to finish. Right. First one is proudest achievement to date.
My first cap for Leinster, yeah. It was always a dream of mine to play for Leinster, and when it actually happens, you're like, he's actually done that now. And you can take that off, but like, when you get there, as I said, like, you're never satisfied. It's to drive on again. But definitely first cap, I always like remember nearly every part of the night, like, and stuff. So that's definitely my proudest achievement.
Who was the first cap against, and was it at home or away?
We played Edinburgh at home on a Halloween night, 2014. Yeah, just always sticks out because it's Halloween night, like, so.
Did you win? I presume you won if you're at home. Yeah. Was your dad there?
Yeah, they're all there. Yeah,
all there. Deadly.
Yeah.
Favorite athlete of all time?
Tom Brady, I'd say. I watched his newest documentary there, like, and just think, freak, like, just because he won his first Super Bowl 2002, like, stuff. He's 45 nearly now, like, and just his level of detail, like, and stuff, and that, like, and I always would have followed New England Patriots. My uncle lives in Boston, like, and stuff, so I would have followed him from a young age, like, and obviously it helped that they were winning the whole time, like, and stuff, and just was obsessed with Tom Brady, like, and looking at documentaries with the Patriots, like, and that. So he's definitely number one, I'd say.
Do you have a favorite rugby player from when you were younger, or someone you looked up to?
Like, out now, like, obviously a back rower, like, so I love watching Richie McCaw, like, how deadly he was, like, and then as you become more interested in, like, Leinster and Ireland, like the likes of Brian O'Driscoll, Jamie Heaslip, and then they moved into the front row, looking at Cian Healy, like, and then to play with him, like, and stuff, like, that's kind of special, like, so kind of changed throughout the years, like, and you get more interested in specific positions and detail, like, in that. So, but Richie McCaw originally, like, because the All Blacks were just class, like, back in the day.
But with those lads you just mentioned from the Leinster setup and the Ireland setup, like, was it a bit surreal when you went in first and you're training with these lads first, and then after that you're having a few pints with them or going for food, like? Yeah,
you go in first, you're only 17, 18, you're like, oh, there's Cian Healy, like, and stuff, and in Leinster to come over and say hello to you, like, and like, I literally wouldn't know nothing about him, like, and stuff, and Jamie Heaslip, but then they're like, you feel like the way you are now, like, you're mad to chat to these young lads, like, just pick their brains, like, and stuff, like, and stuff. So hopefully they would have felt like that when we came in, like, in that. But now you're just a professional as well, like, so you just get on with your day job, like, so yeah.
So you seamlessly move into it over time.
Yeah.
And as you get older, you're asking the lads what happened in Crystal at the weekend.
No, you're telling the lads to stay out of Crystal.
Okay, artist you've been listening to a lot recently.
I've listened to a lot of Dave recently, and I'm only back from Ibiza, so I was listening to a lot of Calvin Harris and MK, like so.
Who's going to play you in the movie?
Oh, Brad Pitt, I'd say.
Definitely. He'll have to put on a bit of size.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you been reading any books lately?
I won't be the biggest reader now.
Sarah's reading them for you, like in college.
Yeah, doing my essays for me. No, I bought a few books, like growth mindset books and stuff, but literally like read 10 pages and just been gathering dust since. Like, but yeah, I should. It's probably something I should get into. Like, but no, I haven't.
Do you listen to any, or do you listen to any podcasts or anything? Apart from Peak Performance podcasts, obviously.
Yeah, yeah. No, I listen to High Performance, one with Jake Humphrey, like and stuff.
Yeah, it's good.
Just other random ones, like the Two Johnnies one with the catfish recently. So like the whole of Ireland, I suppose. Like, but yeah, no, Jake Humphrey mainly, but I won't be a huge podcast listener. I just love music, like and stuff, and when I'm driving up and down to Dublin, be mainly music, like so.
What's the biggest thing you've learned in the last 12 months?
12 months. Probably to not look too far into the future, like just concentrate in the day by day, to week, like because things can change pretty quick. Like, obviously, I thought I'd never be leaving Leinster, like and stuff, and then it just comes on. You're like, "Fuck, this is actually happening now." Like, need to roll with it pretty much. And now I'm like a week away from pre-season. I'm just like starting to get excited, like and stuff. So yeah, not to look too far into this and have your long-term goals and stuff and chip away at them. Like, and the best way to chip away at them is like looking after the day to day.
And what would you tell your 18-year-old self then?
Just to enjoy it more, like not to become too immersed in the occasion, like and stuff. And it's only a game of rugby at the end of the day.
Deadly. Great messages there for young players. Thanks a million, Pete. Great chat. And best luck with the move as well. I'm sure you're moving everything out of the house now. So best luck in Connacht and in Galway, and hopefully we see you in 2 different green jerseys soon enough.
All going well, I mean, yeah, perfect. Appreciate that.